I remember the time when NBA players were first allowed into the Olympics. It used to be, Olympics in general is not supposed to be professional athletes. It's supposed to be, non-professional athletes. And the U.S. team was not the greatest team when it didn't have the NBA players. And all of a sudden they made the switch and they said, we're going to let NBA players join as well. And obviously every country's team got a little bit better, but the U.S. team became known as the Dream Team. And that first year they had Michael Jordan, they had Larry Bird, they had Magic Johnson. I mean, it was just like, there was no contest. It was like 100 and something points to 20, most of the game. It was just, this was the Dream Team. And the truth is, when it comes to rabbis, there's a dream team of rabbis. There are rabbis, rabbis who people like myself go to with our question. And within that dream team of rabbis, we sometimes have someone who's known as the Gadol Hador, the leader, the great one of the generation. Until 2 days ago, that person was Rav Chaim Kanievsky, known as the Prince of the Jewish people, someone who wasn't looking for fame or fortune, and certainly not to have a big following, but that's exactly what he earned. Through watching his life, living with righteousness, focused on not what others could do for him, but what he could do for other people. I remember I once had the opportunity to meet him in person. It was a time when I was struggling with something very, very challenging in my own personal life. And I didn't know where to go, who to turn to. And this is someone I didn't know. He didn't know me. But like everyone else, he opens up his door. It didn't matter who you were, whether you were wealthy or a pauper. Cohen, Levi, Yisrael, his door was opened. Black, white, didn't matter. And I asked, number one, for a blessing, for success in this very challenging predicament I was facing, and also for guidance. And he gave me guidance that a casual observer might have deemed not very wise and might have thought was quite risky behavior. And he gave me a blessing that it would succeed. And as we are commanded, I followed my rabbi, despite not necessarily understanding why this would be the right approach. But nonetheless, I followed his guidance, and sure enough, his blessing came to fruition. And it was successful beyond my wildest imagination. As we now move on to the world after Rav Chaim, I was thinking of two potential possibilities. I'm sure there are more, but two potential explanations as to why he was taken from us at this juncture. The first, if you look back just before the Holocaust, many of the leading rabbis, the Gedolim, the leaders of the generation, also passed away just before the Holocaust, were taken from us. And it was sort of like God wanted to spare them from what was to come. And looking what's happening in the world, starting with COVID and then going now to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, who knows if World War III is coming, nuclear, chemical, what's going to be, I don't know. But that's perhaps one very scary possibility. But there's another, perhaps more comforting possibility. Perhaps Rav Chaim, who was known to have divine inspiration, perhaps he knew what was coming, and he knew things didn't look good. And maybe he asked God, please take me instead and spare the Jewish people from what's supposed to come. Because the death of a righteous person has tremendous value in helping out the world. So perhaps this was his final parting gift to those of us who are still here, to ensure that we don't have to face the unthinkable and the unimaginable. Regardless of what really is going on behind the scenes, this certainly is an opportunity for us, an opportunity to try to emulate the values that he lived for, that he stood for, to be honest, to be humble, to be loving and caring, and to try to be the best person that we can be. Thank you all so much.